My definition of success would be being in a position to use my skills and my opportunities to make things better. When I first started my career, I judged success on accomplishments. And so I thought, okay, if I can win an award, so in TV, the award is an Emmy Award, is what everyone wants. If I can win an Emmy Award, I'll be successful. And I won one. And you know how long I enjoyed that? Maybe a day. And then it becomes, well, that was really neat, but I don't think I'm there yet. So if I win another Emmy Award, then I'll be multiple Emmy Award winner, because it's two, it's multiple. Then I'll be successful. And I worked really hard, and I won another one the next year. But I still kept chasing it and kept chasing it, and that never stopped, really. And then you suddenly trying to reach this success by accomplishments, you're never going to get there. I promise. I've tried. Maybe someone else can. Maybe someone else can be content with trying to do that. But for me personally, it didn't do it. And it really clicked on me last year at the Emmy Awards. I was nominated, I don't talk about this much, but I was nominated for 7. That's a pretty big number. So I was nominated for 7, and I get my tuxedo on, and I go to the awards ceremony, and I'm all ready to go, and I didn't win one. So I sat there all night, and my name came up 7 times, and I lost 7 times. Loser, 7 times. Does that mean I wasn't successful? Are those projects I worked on, were they not successes? And the projects that I was nominated for and didn't win were the Pomeroy documentary, a documentary I did about mental illness in prison. Were those successful or not? Well, I think they were. I think they were my most successful things ever because they made an impact, I hope. I stopped gauging my success on my personal accomplishments and gauged the success of my products on how they impact people, and gauge the success on what I do and who I am on what other people might get from that. So if I'm standing at the Super Bowl, does that make me a success? In some ways, yes, of course. But I consider it to make it a much bigger success if there's some kid at Meigs High School who sees that I'm at the Super Bowl and says, oh, that guy is pretty much just like me, talks like me, looks like me, probably sits in a tree stand all winter and fall just like me, and he's at the Super Bowl. Maybe I can do something cool as well. So if that happens, then I think I'm successful. There's a real thing called a brain drain that happens in communities like ours. The best and the brightest in communities like ours so often leave. Mm-hmm. And we're left, missing the contributions that they could be giving to us. Say you want to be a rocket scientist or an engineer. Maybe that job's not here right now. Fine, go off, start your career somewhere, and then when you're a super successful rocket scientist, come back and start a rocket science company here. Why not? And so when you do find that success, hopefully you do find that success, we need you here. And that's my message to, the kids who are graduating from these high schools, Southern Eastern Meigs, anywhere in Southeastern Ohio. We need you. Help isn't coming on a white horse from outside. Let's be real. It's not coming from somewhere else. It's not coming from other regions of the state. It's not coming from other regions of the country. If we're going to fix the problems we have here, we have to do it ourselves. And I am more than confident that we have the people to do it. It's just going to take a matter of recognizing it, and we are, and working together to make those problems something that we can tackle. My biggest thing is having pride. And I don't mean that in having pride in yourself and I'm the biggest and the best and the baddest. Just a confidence in who you are and a confidence in where you come from. And there are 2 things in my life that will get me fighting mad. And that's when someone talks about my family and someone talks about where I'm from. And I think it's extremely important for people of Meigs County, and especially the kids who are here right now, to understand how important it is to have pride in where you're from. And to look at the people who have come before you and do a little research on who's come from here. There's been some amazing people who have come from Pomeroy and Meigs County. You have a guy named Charles Shorn, who was in the Civil War. He captured Robert E. Lee's artillery flag at the Battle of Appomattox Courthouse the night before Lee surrendered. Basically one of the final moments of the Civil War, right? Captures his flag and is taking it to deliver it to Abraham Lincoln the night before when Abraham Lincoln is assassinated. The guy's given a Medal of Honor. He's from Pomeroy, basically into the Civil War. He didn't end it, but it was a defining moment there. You have Willie Outerbridge from Middleport, who fired the very first shots of World War II at Pearl Harbor. So a guy from Pomeroy ends the Civil War. A guy from Middleport starts World War II. A guy from Jackson ends World War II by raising the flag over the Tokyo embassy. Okay, that's some big stuff. You have a poet by the name of James Campbell, who's an African-American poet, who wrote the first poem ever published about interracial love in America. You have another African-American, one of the Jones brothers, who was the first African-American to charter a bank in the United States. He's from Pomeroy. You have Nelson Story, who grew up 100 yards from where I did in Burlingham, who was the first person to drive cattle from Texas to Montana. And the book and movie and miniseries The Lonesome Dove, that's about him. He's from Bungtown, Burlingham, okay? That's a small portion of people who have come. We have congressmen. You have Valentine B. Horton, who invented the barge. The coal barges you see coming up and down here were invented by a man from Pomeroy. At one point, this was the frontier. This was the place where these innovators came and lived, and it still can be. There's no reason that just because you come from Meigs County or you come from southeastern Ohio, you can't go on to do incredible things. Again, as I mentioned earlier, if I can get a job working and making documentary films and then getting paid to go to the Super Bowl and still live in southeastern Ohio, you can find a job here too that makes a difference. Find ways to get involved in your community. Don't forget us when you go on and have success, and come back and give back to us.